Good morning, Calaveras! Welcome to another video. Today it's freezing. As you could see on the intro, the bikes, or the cover of the bikes, were covered of ice. They were super icy, and that delayed us a little bit because we had to warm up a little bit the bikes. We are on our way to Old School Harley Davidson. It's time to do our 10,000 mile service, and hopefully we're gonna try and test another bikes. We are thankful that the day it's so clean, it's so sunny, no clouds, because with those temperatures, if it's cloudy, it's even worse. You feel even colder. But with the heated grips and this sun, this shiny sun, it's not that bad. It's obviously we are so close to the dealership right now. The hotel was like literally at 10 miles away from the dealership, and we are just a couple of miles away. So let's see what they allow us to test ride today. Let's test ride this baby. Alright, Calaveras, so as we promised you, here we are testing a RoadGlide. So the first thing that I can say is that because of these handlebars, the position is literally upright. So you sit down the same way that you are sitting down in a chair in your living room, in your dining room. It's like straight. I'm not forcing my back at all. I'm not leaning over. It's perfect. I mean, the position, it's super comfortable. It's super nice to have the navigation system in front of you and seeing where you're going, not depending on your cell phone. That's really nice. And engine wise, this is a 107, so it's exactly the same size of our sport glides. So I don't think we're gonna feel any difference in terms of pulling or speed, especially because this weighs way more than our sport glides. So I'm not gonna feel any difference in terms of engine. I could say probably that it rumbles a little bit more than our bikes, so it reminds me more that the old school Sportster that we had. It's a brand new bike, as you can see there. It has only 7 miles, so it's pristine new. And obviously I can tell you that I feel no wind at all in my chest, not in my head. So this fairing, it's aesthetically, we can have a debate if you like it or you don't, but it does its work. I mean, I feel no wind at all. What I can say though is that this bike is clearly meant and created to do long distance rides. So I can understand people using this bike to go from New York to LA, from New York to, I don't know, Milwaukee or Sturgis, and spend 1 week on the road. It moves easy. When it's moving, you don't feel the weight at all. And you can move it easily. I'm so interested to see how MJ reacts when she tries this bike.
Good morning, Calaveras. What's up? Another day, another adventure, and you know, every time we come to Old School Harley Davidson, we get to try something new, at least for us. It's the first time I'm riding a RoadGlide. I'm not gonna talk about the engine or the specificities, or you can read all of that, and it's also one of the best sellers of Harley Davidson. So basically what I can say is what I feel, and I feel safe with this bike. I feel it brings a lot of stability. The engine is the same that we have, so I don't feel any different in that regard, but I feel like it's a reliable bike. I feel safe on this bike. However, even though I'm not petite, I'm 5'6", and I consider myself like, you know, strong, fit. It's a little hard to maneuver, especially when parked. And it took me a while to move the bike. I needed Jordi to push me a little bit. But first of all, let me tell you, in the back, it's super comfortable. The backrest that they put, the seat, it's very comfortable. It's one of those bikes that take you for long distances. I'm not saying this is something I would buy. It's a little intimidating, the fairing of this bike. It's something I would rent if I had to do, I don't know, one of those trips where you go and do the Route 66 in 1 week and you have to cover a lot of miles. But this is definitely not my cup of tea. That doesn't mean that it's not beautiful or that it's not comfortable or whatever, right? It's just not for me. I'm more comfortable with a smaller bike, but the posture is very comfortable. The handlebars, I know some guys even change them and put them higher, but the handlebars, the way as is, are very handy. And the upright position, very comfortable, especially if you have bike issues like I do. In terms of saddlebags, is give or take what we already have in our RoadGlide. I prefer the ones we have because they are hydraulic and it's, I don't know, I think it's easier and they look more modern. This comes with full floorboards, and this is also something that, because I already have the mini floorboards on mine, doesn't really feel different. And that's all for me.
Well, as you know, we always like to contrast pros and cons about every single bike that we test ride. The two things that we liked the most about this motorcycle. The first one is comfort. I mean, obviously, as I mentioned before, this is meant to be on the road and demolish the miles. So it's miles after mile after mile after mile. You sit down straight up, super comfy. The handlebars allow to have your arms relaxed and super close to your body, and it's super comfortable. I understand people doing 600, 700, 800 miles on a day on that, because that's super comfortable. And the second thing that I like a lot about this bike is the protection that the front gives you aerodynamically. I mean, you don't feel the air hitting your chest or your head. So it really does, it works. And it's really well studied and well designed.
The two things that we didn't like are the fact that it's a very heavy bike compared to what we are used to. So it means that maneuverability, not when you are riding, but when you are parked, it's a little challenging. At least it has been for me, a little bit. And it feels bulky. It's a little bit like what we already mentioned about the RoadGlide. And you have this kind of cockpit. It's like you're on a plane, and it's nice. I can understand how people like it, but for us, this is a thumbs down. The other thing that surprised negatively is that the engine is very loud. I don't know if it's the engine, if it's the exhaust, but you feel like it's a loud bike. So for instance, when you are trying to listen to the music, unless you change and upgrade the speakers, it can be also a little bit challenging, yes. So these are the two things that we didn't really enjoy about this motorcycle.
Yes, it's not a pro and it's not a con, but I think this bike is really, really, really similar to the RoadGlide. The only difference, of course, it's the protection on the front. This one, it's built and attached to the frame. So they say that it allows you to not feel any turbulence when you are riding on highways. But in my honest opinion, I like better the RoadGlide, how everything is designed and how everything looks in the bike. This one, the fact that when you turn the handlebars, you still have everything pointing straight ahead. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit
disorienting.
Yes.
but all things considered, I think it's a nice bike, it's a nice ride, it's a motorcycle that we would take on a long trip, and it's a motorcycle that I would like to test ride in the rain.
Yes,
Like, who wants to test ride a bike in the rain? Yeah, nobody does, but...
Yeah, everybody says that this kind of protection in front of you protects you a lot from the elements. So yeah, I think it's a good point. All right, so let's keep going and go to return the bike to the dealership. As always, saludos, siempre nube.
Bye!
Bye!